Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we are at my home shop here in my little workshop at home. This is where I do all the small stuff for those of you who are new to the channel. Kind of don't have a lot of head space in here. I only got 8 foot. Unfortunately, the building is 24 by like 40, but it's only 8 foot ceiling. So can't really do any of the big stuff in here, but that's okay because this is where I tinker with all the small stuff. Anyways, we're going to do a tool review tonight. This is a tool that I have bought to assist me with a project that I'm doing. The John Deere 690B excavator has always been special to me because this is the first excavator that I learned how to run excavator in. Stood behind the seat many hours behind my dad watching him dig over his shoulder, and 690Bs have just always been one of my favorite machines. So recently, some of you watched this video, I went to a RC truck and construction show over this last summer, and I got to run a fully hydraulic 1/14 scale remote controlled excavator. It was modeled after like a 200 Hitachi, a newer machine, and after that I kind of got bitten by the bug. So as I've had time, I've done a lot of research, and I've made some plans in my head, and I'm going to build one. So I have started the process of building one. I'm starting to make all of the wooden templates that I'm going to use to make the steel actual pieces that I need to build the 1/14 scale excavator, which I believe it's 1/14 scale. This might have ended up just a hair bigger, but I've been modeling it off of one of these kind of cheaper store-bought RC excavators, trying to make everything kind of look proportionate. This is actually like a 1/25th scale, so it's pretty small. The 1/14th is going to be a nice size because that'll allow me to put in all the actual hydraulic stuff it takes to make this machine run. So you got to take that into account when you're building the body, on being able to get the hydraulic pump in there, reservoir, and all that. So anyways, moving forward with this video here, making these wooden templates has been kind of a challenge, especially getting these cut out really nicely inside. So I can't use my bandsaw because obviously you'd have to cut in to get the bandsaw in there. I've tried to use just one of these hand saws to cut out the corners. What I've actually been doing to get started is I take them back on my mill and I use a mill bit, clamp it in a vise and mill this out, and then come back and kind of square up the corners with a saw like this. Well, I'm not happy with what I have yet. So I got on Amazon, I was looking at my choices for kind of precision saws, couldn't really find anything I liked. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get one of these oscillating spindle sanders like this one, which this is a WEN tools. This was off Amazon. It was a reasonable price at $125.63. I bought this, so this is a good review because WEN tool has nothing in it. We can tell the truth in this. I mean, there's nobody that's going to tell me I can't. So, which all my reviews are honest. I never let a company tell me that I'm not going to give them a good or bad review. Reviews should be honest. So we're going to open this up. We're going to check out what we got here. Cut that tape. That's actually the Hercules Harbor Freight cutoff tool. That thing is awesome. Go ahead and cut these with a knife. I don't want to go too deep. Is my neighbor seriously leaf blowing the yard at 7:30 at night when the leaves are wet? They're soaking wet. We haven't been able to harvest for the past 3 days because everything's soaking wet, and he's out there leaf blowing leaves. Sometimes I wonder. All right. So, first thing we see here is we have some pieces. These, I believe, are all the rubber pieces that the actual sandpaper slide over. Tools. Oh, these go in the table. Oh, wow. It actually looks really nice for the price. I know there were some other ones on there that were really, they were pretty expensive. The price point was pretty high on them. But the table looks nice on it so far. I mean, I'm impressed just with the appearance of it. Nice on-off safety switch here. Yeah, so this spins and it moves up and down for those of you that are not familiar with these oscillating sanders. So, got a nice, fairly heavy cord here. I'll grab me an extension cord and look at the instructions briefly, and we'll get it set up and see what we got, see if this will help. And then I'll show you how I've actually been making these pieces with mill and everything. Okay, so it's very simple to set this up. Now I'm also going to see about how well these work with steel, and I'll use these also to clean up my finished product when I get these cut out. Might have to get a different type of abrasive to use, but I think we can also use this for that. So basically, you need to put this piece on first. This goes here. And then if you're using the 1/2 inch, it goes directly on the spindle. But if you want to put the 3 inch, because this will go all the way, this will go 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, and 3 inch, which this is the 3 inch. You'll put that over the spindle, and then you will slide your 3 inch sanding drum over that. And of course, you also have to put your 3 inch plastic insert there to fill in the rest of the hole. Now the cool thing is it's got this nice little storage area back here with pegs that you can put all of your other ones that you're not using. You can just stick them like so right there for storage. And then you come around the front, you can see these slotted areas. You can stick all these for storage. I don't have them all lined up, but anyways, you get the idea where they go. So it all stays with the sander at all times. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to set this up for the 1/2 inch. So I need the 1/2 inch plate up here, and I need my 1/2 inch sanding drum, and I also need a washer that comes with. We'll stick the lock washer on there. Go ahead and put our nut on, and we have our handy dandy tin wrench. Let's go ahead and tighten that. And you don't want to get too tight because you don't want to smash it. There we go. So we can plug our sander in, and first we should clean up our mess here a little bit so we don't lose all this. And in the meantime, we don't want to lose all of our instructions. Throw this over in the box. All right. So I got my piece. We're going to give it a shot. I want to clean these up. I actually want to thin these out a little bit. So let's see what happens. This is going to work really good for what I want it for. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit here, and I think this is going to really be exactly what I needed. So let me mess with it for a little bit and see what I come up with. Well, after playing with it for a while, I'm really happy with the results. It's probably going to need a little fine tuning, but I was able to make these nice rounded curves in the corners of the windows here. Them are curved in real life so that the rubber follows them nicely that holds the glass in the window. The door, those could have probably stayed squared off, but I can always cut them back square because I'm actually going to have to make a door. Actually, what I might do is just on the real machine, the door is actually on the outside of the cab. So it hangs past a little. So I can always do something with that as I go. Scratch building this. There is no blueprints. There is nothing. I reached out to John Deere trying to get the original build data on this machine, and all I can come up with basically is transport dimensions and things like that. But actually, my buddy Michael's got a 690B right now, and I'm supposed to be getting a 690B. I'm just waiting for Mort to finish up his hog barn so I can get that machine, but Michael said I could come take pictures and measurements or whatever I want off of his to build this one with. Also, I'm going to be going to look at a 690B tomorrow with my buddy Zach that he might purchase and use around his place. So sounds like I'm going to have some options on going and getting some measurements on one here pretty soon. But so far, all these measurements have came off of the 1/25th scale. I've kind of scaled them up and then took some measurements off of that other excavator there. And with my imagination, I made things from pictures. I've been I got some screenshots of some off Google Images. So I've got this side of the cab pretty much done. And I've got all these pieces that I have to cut out. This is the other side of the cab. This is the front. This will be the front window. This will be the cab roof with the skylight in the top for seeing overhead obstructions. Oh, this is roof, sorry. And this is the back wall. Now, it doesn't matter that these are thick. I'm just using these as templates. The actual pieces of steel all fit together, and I'll either TIG weld those up or wire weld them up. We'll see what happens. So let's go back to the mill, and I'm going to show you how I mill these out. So basically all I'm doing is just taking a mill bit for steel and using that to cut these out. I don't go all the way out to my lines. Stay in them a little bit and I'll sand the rest out. Works pretty good. There we go. Now we can take that over to the sander and clean it up. Looks pretty good. we go. I got all my templates cut out. Got some pretty good shape to the windows, I think. Looks pretty good for being all handmade, no CNC equipment or anything like that. I did find out, though, if I stick a router bit in my mill, I can cut this stuff a lot faster. So that's what I did, was I used a router bit. But still used the WEN oscillating sander. This thing works fantastic. I really like this. I also got this extra set of the sanding drums for it, or sanding sleeves they call them. That was only $14.55. So I'm going to check into some for steel, and these might work for steel. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to check into some. But I'm really happy with this. So now the next step is to take this, trace it out on some steel, and plasma cut it out when I have some time. So this is going to be a project that I work on when I have some downtime every now and then. And eventually it'll turn into a 1/14 scale full hydraulic remote controlled excavator. So I'm pretty excited about this. It's going to be a really neat project and probably going to be fun to follow here on YouTube. So if you're into this kind of thing and you want to follow along, I'll be having a video on it every so often. I can't guarantee you how quick I'll get to the next step, but be watching for it. It'll be coming eventually. So thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Got a little tool review in, got a little model building in. So fun Friday evening project on a rainy night when we can't do anything else. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.